My name's Billy. I am a ex-member of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club. I'm a person in long-term recovery, and I am chatting with Staxx.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Billy.
No, I ran into a couple. I saw one at the mall. We kind of passed each other, did the head nod, kept going, and then oddly enough, in my timeline's just going to be a little mess, a mess at that. I ran into one of them at a meeting, at a recovery meeting. He was still a member. He was trying to get clean. I was clean, barely. I'm literally sitting in the front of the meeting. I turn around and I see him. I'm like, oh, here we go. Had no idea that he was there because he was, trying to find recovery himself, right?
You're thinking he's trying to find you, right?
Yeah, right. We kind of do the head nod as we pass each other, right? Like no words are spoken or anything. Like, yeah. And then you hear stuff, you know what I mean? You hear stuff through the grapevine and you hear, all sorts of stuff. And I didn't hear any bad shit. I heard things that, so-and-so said, they wish you never left Rhode Island. You should have stayed here. You know what I mean? We would have taken care of you. You know what I mean? And I can tell you this, let me flash back, however many years when we were still in the old club before we had turned over. I had a vicious habit, and I could not stop for anything. I was married at the time. I had a little girl who's now 38. I just couldn't stop, man. I just could not stop. And I remember going to my church. I remember going to a weekly meeting, and telling the guys, like, listen, I can't stop doing it. And apparently my kid and my wife don't matter enough. I said, but I know that this club does. So I need you guys to pass a rule that if I do again, that you're gonna beat the shit out of me and throw me the fuck out. And what they did was, not only did they not throw me out, but they decided to quit with me for 30 days.
Wow.
At the end of the 30 days, catch this, they 86 out of the charter permanently. Nobody can do in the charter anymore. Now, mind you, we can do every other right?
Like what? You could do.
Yeah. But no, hey, and they literally, that rule stayed like that until years after I transferred to Manhattan. They still nobody was doing anymore. And
that's a good thing, though. That's a good thing.
For sure. But the point of the story is that was the real camaraderie that I had with the guys in Rhode Island. And then I fucked all of that up because I was so and decided to leave and want, you know what I mean? And that's where I heard stuff like, hey, he should have never left, but from through the grapevine afterwards, after I had been thrown out, people, hey, I ran into Mike and he said, the biggest mistake you made was leaving here. If you had stayed here, we would have taken care of you. You know what I mean? So I don't know how I went down that rabbit hole, but because I ran into him at the meeting, years later when he's trying to get clean.
And did he spoke to you when you seen him?
Nah, it was just head nods. And we just kept
because he knew it was no contact, and they stuck by that. They stuck by that with you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Yep.
I've heard stories where a lot of people sneak phone calls or they'll talk to you and not tell the club. And
yeah, it didn't happen with me. You know what I mean? I really tried to stick to. I really believed in that life, you know what I mean? And I really believed that your word was your bond. So when I'm on the phone with them and they're saying, we're going to go our way, you go your, you stay on your side of the street, we'll stay on it. I believe that I am truly like an honorable individual, right? And it was the drugs that got me all fucked up and caused me to, that was dishonorable, right? So even though I'm thrown out and I'm not part, like even to this day, you will never hear me say a bad word about the club, and it's not out of fear. it's because I still think that they're the greatest motorcycle organization in the world. You know what I mean? From when I was around, I hear a lot of the stuff that goes on now, and maybe it's way different. Like I hear, folks that have been on your podcast, like even Pee Wee, we must have crossed paths. We had to. He was in Minnesota at the time that you know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't remember him. I doubt that he would remember me. You know what I mean? But I didn't experience all the stuff that he experienced afterwards. You know what I mean? Like about
he was in Chicago, California, Minnesota.
Right.
He was all over the place.
Started in Minnesota, which is where we got our patches. Was when we were in Minnesota. That's when they patched us in. So we had to cross paths somewhere. But again, by the time he became a member, I was probably already out. And then all of the, the club today is definitely not what it was, back then. You know what I mean? And I'm not here to judge that or whatever, but you'll never hear me say anything bad about, the club. You know what I mean? And that, that lifestyle is what it is. You know what I mean? And it is what it is, the way it is. You know what I mean? And you choose to be a part of that. And I still to this day feel that I'm the one that fell from grace. You know what I mean? So I don't have any animosity or any negative, feelings towards it. It was probably one of the greatest times of my life. It was probably one of the greatest achievements of my life. So I guess this is a long way of answering. When I was told, you stay on your side of the street, we stay on it, that's what we did. You know what I mean? So I might have ran into people in passing, head nods were given, and we just went on our own way. Through the grapevine, I heard a lot of people say that, they were sorry for what had happened to me, that, if I had just stayed in Providence, if, they would have taken care of me. And, who knows, maybe it would have been true. You know what I mean?
Do you wish you could have went back and done it sober?
Don't we all? We would, could have, should have, right? I don't think I could have done it. You know what I mean? I don't think I could have done it, without, how do you do that? You know what I mean? I've seen many, many people like that gentleman that I ran into. I ran into him at a meeting, and he struggled, his whole life with that. You know what I mean? It's really hard. Let me correct myself.
It's possible,
really hard
though.
for an addict. It's really hard for an addict to do that. There are people that are probably in the club that don't use, you know what I mean? But I don't believe that they're addicts, you know what I mean? If you're an addict, it's really, really difficult to, put it down and keep it down, So
yeah. I know how difficult it is. I'm an addict, so
Right. Did I hear? I think I just heard on one of your things. Wait, you got like 3 years now or something?
It's 7 years. Yeah.
I'm probably watching old and I don't know it.
Probably. Yeah, awesome. You probably watched the show from like 3 years into my recovery.
Right. That's awesome, bro.
Thank you. Congratulations on your sobriety. Do it again, like they say, right? Do it again. Tell me about the member from the other club that became an honorary Hell's Angel after he passed away.
From the original charter.
Yeah,
good guy. You know what I mean? His name was Gary. He died. I wasn't with them. There were a bunch of them up in the Berkshires for some run, some road. Late at night, sand on the road, hit some sand, went down. They said he had a gash like this big on the side of his head, but his brain swelled and died. Yeah. Wicked good guy. I think he was the youngest out of all of us. Yeah. And
he didn't have a helmet on?
He did. It was one of those friggin', half helmet. Probably wasn't a real one. You know what I mean? Like one of them flea market ones. Cause we all hated helmets, right? Now everybody's wearing them full faces. Simpsons.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and he passed away. He passed away when we were still, like I said, like the old when we were still the Satan Serpents.
So it's over.
But we decided to patch him, posthumously afterwards. I actually the artwork that's on his that was engraved in his tombstone. I was the one that drew all of that up for the tombstone. But
and the angels were okay with that? The angels were okay with?
Well, we did that after we became Hell's Angels. We did it after we were as a matter of fact, I'll tell you this. Yeah. A bunch of them that came to his funeral actually put like Hell's Angel pins in his coffin with him, which is really, really, really ever done to somebody that's not a member yet. But there were a couple of people that put like Hell's Angel pins in his casket, and he was buried with that. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
was there any accidents during your time in the club?
Meaning like bike accidents?
Yeah.
Well, his.
I mean, any with you?
No. Won't be jinxing me, damn it.
What's it like to be riding in a pack with the brothers when you were in the club?